Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. Welcome to my channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. And Sunday mornings at 11 a.m., we go live and we do readings for each sign. And we go over the transits for the week ahead. So I want to welcome everybody. Give it a minute to see if some people enter the room there. We see a couple people meandering in. Good morning, Catherine. Good to see you. I am wearing my mermaid hair. I'd like to say it's because Neptune and Venus are conjunct this week, but it's not. It's just because it's finally cold and rainy and my hair doesn't blow dry well in the cold and the rain. As you can see, I have a lifelong trauma with my hair. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, Margie. Good morning, Stephen. Good to see everyone. Well, here we are in 2025, and 1 month is almost down, and we have a lot of stuff coming up that's pretty interesting. I'm going to just give, again, a little minute to see if Small Wildflowers gets here in the room. On Wednesday, everybody, from 3 to 5 Pacific, that's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., 6 to 8. 3 to 5, 6 to 8. I'm going to be doing live room readings again. Good morning, Molly. How's Max? Hope you guys are settling in well. Oh, really, Stephen? Well, Pluto is entering Aquarius this week, and it's been conjunct. I'm sorry, Pluto is not entering Aquarius. It's already in Aquarius. Mercury's entering Aquarius this week. So there could be a lot of stuff going on. Oh, awesome, Catherine. Awesome. Okay. So this is the thing. I think that the most powerful thing that's been going on is really Uranus. Uranus is stationed at 23 degrees since December 19th. Yes. And it will until March 12th. So here in this earth sign that rules money, it rules our sense of stability and security. It rules our personal history. It rules beauty, our skills, our voice. And when I say our voice, I don't just mean a singing voice. I mean our opinion. That's really what I think it is. I think it is our voice is our opinion and what we think. So here it is stationed at this degree, this Aquarian degree, which Uranus rules. And it's just kind of playing, I think, a little bit of havoc. I personally will tell you this first beginning of the year has been very slow for me. And at the same time, I have felt slow. I felt like I put on so much gas in December that I'm a little burnt out. And I think that's also Saturn squaring my midheaven. But if you all are feeling a little lazy this week, if you want to call it lazy by the human structure, or you're just feeling like you want to just kind of hibernate in your room and sit and watch TV, don't feel bad about it, because I think that's a little bit of what happens when Venus and Neptune are conjunct at the 27th degree of Pisces. 27th degree is the Gemini degree. That's the media. And I just feel like the two just want to hang around and talk about what could be, what the potentials could be versus what they really are. So be a little gentle with yourself if you find that. Uranus could make you feel a little nervous because Uranus is in a money sign. We have a new moon in Aquarius on Wednesday, and that's why I'm doing this, by the way. I've got inspired to, don't hold me to it for the whole year, because I make a lot of plans and then my Aries doesn't always follow through with them. But I want to do on the full moon and the new moon these live readings with specific questions for you that you guys want to pose. I thought that would be a fun thing to do. And then, of course, your donations will, encourage your upward mobility in the queue. What's the other thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, and in the background this week is Mars at the malefic 22nd degree retrograde in Cancer, squaring Chiron. This is a wound of the self in conflict with the home. Good morning, Small Wildflowers. We've all been waiting for you. Well, we've been talking, but we've all been waiting for you. That Mars square Chiron is it feels a little funky to me. like I'm being villainized for my individuality or my Aryan energy. That Cancer energy is making me feel like I have to, I should be taking care of other things. I should be doing this. I should be blah, blah, blah when it comes to nurturing others. And that's that part of me that wants to just hang out and be my Neptunian Venusian self. Welcome in, Angela. Love to see Greece in the room. So, meaning the country. Okay, and the other thing that's going on this week that I think is really important is Jupiter is stationed to go direct on February 4th, I believe it is. So here it is stationed at the 11th degree. This is tasking Jupiter to really look at how Jupiter is thinking. No more does Jupiter just get to philosophize and, what can be. And this can also be, there's the background noise. Okay. I feel like the stars sometimes are like a symphony, okay? The loudest clanging thing this week is Mars square, Chiron, and Uranus stationed. Because Uranus pulls out unexpected things. It's the nervous system, and it's like sometimes I picture Uranus like somebody in a militia, okay, and you're about to go storm the castle, and you're going to do it, and you're full of nerves. So somewhere we're storming the castle of our fears, of our trepidations, of what's holding us back to make more money, where we feel a little bit stuck. That stuckness, I think, is reflected in the Mars square Chiron, because Mars is in fall. It is in the sign of home and hearth and nurturing of others. It's retrograding. It's going from the 22nd degree to the 20th degree. And this just feels like it doubles down on the twos. Other people, being aware. Mars doesn't want to do that. And it's squaring Chiron in its home sign. Chiron being the wound of self. So that feels really loud and clanging. And then there's Jupiter stationing at that 11th degree, which is not only the Aquarian degree, but the master number of thought. So we're looking at what are we thinking? What are we focusing in on? If we're focusing in on, I'm tired, I just want to lay around, but I feel guilty because I should be doing this and I have to do that, and money needs to be made. It's like it's a huge clang, okay? And the money might come in, but it'll trickle in, or it'll be challenging. So I almost feel like a surrender, and then you'll get gassed up. And it is Sunday for the most part. Here in the United States, it's probably Monday in other places of the world. So be just a little gentle with yourself. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And join me on Wednesday from 3 to 5 when we are going to do your questions, not just what Spirit wants you to know, but what you want to know from Spirit. All righty, onward and upward. Today we're using the Star Tarot deck. Okay, and I'm just going to tell you, I have gone, because you guys are like my best friends, okay? I've gone crazy over this show, Traitors. I don't know if you guys have watched it. It's on Peacock. You can stream it on Peacock. It is just fabulous. It is this whole like murder mystery competition. It's full of deception, and it's placed in Scotland, and I just literally love it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been binging on this. I shot 38 videos in December, and I literally feel like my brain is just tired. And yet I feel compelled that I should work every day. And this is a struggle I have. Isn't it, Beth? Oh my gosh, I'm just loving the twists and turns. I love the fact that they brought in Wes and Derek to muck things up. I love Boston Rob, whatever Boston Rob does. I wish he'd lose a little weight, though, because he's looking a little pudgy, and he's so cute. All right, I think he drinks too much beer. Honestly, that's what I think that weight is beer weight. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. And now that I've binged season 1 and season 2, and I'm almost caught up on season 3, I'm going to go and see the Traitors UK. I won't know any of the characters, but I love the premise. So this has been my indulgence this last week. And I have like guilt, no guilt. Okay, we're starting with our birthday people. and that would be our Aquariuses, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Again, I'm using the Star Tarot today. It's one of my favorite decks. I think it's super pretty. I don't know why I'm turning the cards. For some reason, I'm pulling them, but I'm not turning them over. So we'll see why I'm doing that. Could just be distraction. All right. In the foundational position, we have dun, 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 the Chariot. The Chariot is such an interesting energy because it rules Cancer. It rules the sign of home. And yet there's a lot of action with no action. The horses represent two instinctual sides of ourself. One, which is our soul, wanting to be birthed in the physical, and the other is that ego and the personality, and they're sort of pulling against each other. The charioteer is most protected by his intuition and his emotions and his awareness of them and his connection to the stars. This is Saturn's influence in Pisces, continually tasking us to get past what we see with our eyes, what we know is the boundaries of the material world, and at the same time allowing the soul to give us a new experience so that we can truly feel the earth plane's potential magic. In the opportunity or the obstacle is the Hermit. The Hermit for our Aquarius is reflection and then enlightenment and wisdom as reflected by the owl here. But it's a period of feeling slightly cold and slightly alone. Now I want to offer this because I don't know that this is necessarily a negative thing. It can also indicate work. Oh my goodness, look at all the energies, the major arcanas that Aquarius is getting. Here's the Star. The angels are offering you faith, but there's a vulnerability and a nakedness to that faith. And if you look kind of at the what looks almost like entrails, there little looks like hearts. It's like the world, like the universe is sending you hearts. In the final position is the Tower. Something is shifting. I believe this is Uranus. So you got 4 major arcana cards in your birthday month as Mercury is entering your sign. Pluto will, obviously bring changes throughout the next 20 years, and they won't just be all material. There'll be psychological changes. There'll be philosophical changes. There'll be yearnings to explore a bigger part of yourself, to go where no man has gone before. But this isn't about moving the physical out into space. It's about trusting the intuitive knowing that your soul knows that there's a bigger thing going on here. It's super intense, super, super intense, because there's that push-pull. And I want to tell you, if for some reason this shows up in the way of a little bit of anxiety for you, then the anxiety will come from, and I hate to say that, it'll be from your ego, what we could call the dark horse here. Because the ego will be like, well, I don't know. Yeah, but the white horse will know that there's a breakdown that has to happen in order to break through, as they say. And this could have something to do with your work environment. And if not, the Hermit represents Virgo. So where you are mentally enslaved, where inadvertently you could be, the Pisces Virgo axis with the nodes is going to task us to watch how we pay attention to our physical apparatus and what we do, not only in the way of our physical eating and activities, but also what we fuel it with, the input in the mind. So, but there's hope. Through reflection, there is something that's better coming on the horizon. Wow, wow, wow for Aquarius. Happy birthday, Aquarius. This is going to be a big solar return for you. Now, we could even say, as I move on to Pisces, that we know that the early degrees of Aquarius are being focused upon now. We see we're going to see a retrograde from, I think it's 3 degrees Aquarius to 1 degree Aquarius, and everything that squares that, all the fixed signs, will feel if you have any planets there. So the mindfulness is the breakaway of what is psychologically trapping you. This week, Jupiter is stationed at 11 degrees. So Jupiter is having to come up off the mountain on some level and really look at the details of the thought. I always think of Jupiter as a delegator, Jupiter sits at the top, goes, oh, you know what? I think this is a good idea. So-and-so, go get that. Make that happen. Make it snow in August, darling. You can do it. I know you can. I know you can. I think that's Jupiter sometimes. And then there's whoever has to, find the snow in August, right? So now Jupiter has to figure out how to figure out the snow in August himself. I know this is a crazy analogies, but I'm in that place right now of crazy analogies. I have I have Neptune, the North Node, and Venus all kind of hanging around my South Node. And it's really making me crazy, not in a bad way, in a good way. The other day I did a reading for someone and it was so specific. I'm like, you're going to find a potential job opportunity in a farm 30 minutes from your house with a woman who has slightly red hair and she works with a man. He's underneath her. I think they're a couple. Literally, the woman went out because she had a friend doing a reading afterwards and Googled her area and found exactly that thing. And I'm like, it was really weird. All right, on to Pisces, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Pisces is so powerful. The next couple months for you are so important to pay attention to because it's really a polarizing energy because Venus and Mercury are literally going to go through your sign. Venus is in the last degrees now. She's going to move into Aries. Then she's going to retrograde. And she did not retrograde one time in 2024. So she hasn't done a review since 2023. Now, the 2025 review back from Aries into Pisces, into where she's exalted, is super powerful because it's going to be like, how do I assert myself and make my dreams come true? How do I bring my talents and my skills and my spirituality onto the table of my life so that it can work for me instead of sitting in the background like a dusty old, tool that you don't have? Welcome, Level Plane Productions. Welcome to our time. So excited that you're here. Okay, here we go, Pisces. Our first card is the Queen of Cups. Perfect. Queen of Emotions. Then we have the High Priestess. Oh my goodness. All right, there we go. We have the Fool. And then we have the Six of Cups. All right. So for my Pisces, the Queen of Cups is the Queen of Emotion. Whenever we see a queen, we're seeing the water element. And now we've got the double water element of mastering the emotions, understanding how important it is that our emotions be aligned to our truth, because our emotions also are displayed, our fears are displayed through our emotions. But here is an inner knowing, a trusting like never before. Now, if I think about the idea of Mercury and Venus getting double doses in Pisces this year, they're going to go through once, triple doses if we want to look at it. They're going to go through, they're both going to go into Aries, then they're going to back up into Pisces, and then they're going to move forward again. Not to mention Saturn and Neptune will do the same exact thing. They will come together in a conjunction, dip into Aries, and then come back into Pisces. Super powerful for you connecting to that inner voice, connecting to that inner knowing, and almost be willing to take a fool's journey. I believe that the Fool is Mars, not Uranus. I don't get it when people say that the Fool is Uranus. I don't even know why they think that. Because the Fool goes and pioneers into a new experience. It jumps off the cliff. What else is Mars? Mars, that's totally Mars. Now, Uranus is going to go in and be the militia that breaks up the castle. So that's why I go there. Because this journey for you, Pisces, of trusting that inner knowing, taking the idea that Venus is exalted in your sign, and then in the house of self, because Pisces first house rising, and that you become a master of trusting the ebb and the flow. And here is a restoration of your childhood innocence or something yummy coming in. The Six of Cups is where in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, you see the boy handing his cup to the young girl. And then all the cups in the card are full of flowers. It's the only card in all of the cup suit that has this much innocence and fun and love. And the sixes are also similar to the aces in that they are a new beginning. because the 1 through 5 is like the first chapter of the minor arcana, and then the 6 through the 10. So this is super powerful for connecting to a deeper part of yourself so that you can allow magic to take flight. And that could be your creativity, very much so. Could be your ability to emote, and through emotions create. All right, everybody, here we go. On to our Aries rising moons. Why do I feel crooked? My color. Darling, I cannot do things in reverse. I'm going the wrong way. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yes, very much so. There's a lot of purity in that card in this deck. We see a lot of white. You also see the alligator, and that's like our reptilian reactions, I think, our fight or flight. That's that base chakra energy. All right, on to our Aries, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right. In the foundational position, we have the 8 of Cups. In the opportunity or the obstacle, we have the 9 of Wands. In the Angel's Advice, we have the Queen of Wands. And then the 5 of Cups. Not fun. Not fun. Gonna say it right now. The 8 of Cups is where things are balanced on some level, but they're not authentic to the truth. And in this particular deck, we see this girl swimming, and we see her with what looks like, it's not a dolphin. It's like a catfish or something. Oh no, maybe it is a dolphin. It is a dolphin. I'm just looking at it. Because this is where you have to leave something behind in order to reach where you want to go. The rainbow, the star, the peace dove, the joy of the dolphin is all because I'm walking away from something that is actually not working for me. And it's not going to be easy to do. The Knight of Wands in the opportunity, the obstacle, is a fiery energy. It's a brave energy. This is actually would be a fireman in many ways, because most firemen are in their mid part of life where their bodies are the most virile. Now, as I said that, I felt like this was representing the fire within Aries, the fire within yourself. And now is a time to master that. That's the Queen of Wands in the Angel's Advice, where we're actually looking at that fiery emotions. We're mixing water and fire together. And here, I actually think it's like a steam engine, because sometimes this is a card of loss and sorrow. But there's, again, another rainbow. Something is moving out so that something else can move in. And as we look at the idea that Neptune is moving into Aries, Saturn is going to move into Aries. Both of these planets have a bit of a restrictive, erosive energy. So here, what I think is happening is that Aries is being tasked not to look at what is happening in front of their face, but what's happening long term. What if there appears to be a loss of some kind, or something appears not to be working out? It could be because with Mars being retrograde, your ruling planet in Cancer, you're not tapping into your intuitiveness. You're only tapping into what is potentially what's in your emotional body, hanging on to, Aries rules resentments. So I'm going to pull a clarification card, because frankly, I'm an Aries rising, and damn, I want to know what this is, because I'm sick of it. Because sometimes it's just time, a loss of time. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. This is an interesting thing. Now, the Wheel of Fortune here I have to pull one more. Sorry. Okay. I got the 9 of Wands on top of that. There is something that's going to happen that is going to fire you up, Aries. Okay. It is going to fire you up and it's going to trigger some old story. Okay. That's the square between Chiron and Mars this week. With Mars traveling through the 22nd to the 20th degree, it's little cranky. And I feel as if this is an opportunity for you not to go into the old story. This is an opportunity for you to stop looking at what is lost and look what really matters to you. Because you may win something, but it doesn't feel like a win. It feels like a loss because you wanted more actually than you got. That's the way I want to say it. And I want to offer this too, because the Wheel of Fortune is always moving up and down. And oftentimes it's our perception and our ability. We see the 4 archangels coveting this card and the 4 elements here. So there's something about balance going on. And here I see the same thing because there's this red cloak and then there's that dark wolf and a light wolf, akening back to that first reading with the Chariot. So there's something about not defending yourself, not going back to old habits, and not looking at things on a surface level. Something is still in process. That's what I want to say. All right, here we go. I'm not loving that reading, I'll tell you. Hi, Les. Happy New Year. I feel like we haven't seen you in a long time, but that just may be me. All right, here we go. On to our Tauruses. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I want to remind everybody on Wednesday at 3 p.m. from 3 to 5 p.m. to celebrate the new moon in Aquarius, I'm going to be doing readings based on your questions. So you'll get to come into the live. You'll get to put your question in the chat. We'll go in order, and those that end up donating a little something will move up because that's just the motivator here, thought we'd do an exchange of energy. Yep. Taurus moon, 9 degrees. That's me. All right, here we go. Taurus, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. And, I really am a big moon fan. If you think about it, we look at the karmic moon's nodes as being so indicative of our life path. And then we ignore the moon as a potentially the most important planet that affects us on a daily basis. I think so. Okay, Taurus. In the foundational position, we have the Ace of Swords. In the opportunity, the obstacle, we have the 5 of Swords. In the Angel's Advice, we have the Emperor. And in the final position, we have the 4 of Wands. Okay. What first thing I saw when I saw that Ace of Swords is like something is cutting through the muck. I feel like this sword is just coming down and somehow either a new idea, almost like the stars look like a crown to me. So I'm like looking at the way this starts in this kind of dense valley, in what looks like a scene from Star Wars, dry and kind of tough. And then I'm coming up and I'm feeling my power and a new thought comes and it's divinely guided. It's somehow going to help with something that's been aching at your heart or something that's been creating a challenge for you. When we look at the 5 of the Swords in this particular deck, each one of the swords kind of has the color of a chakra with hearts all around it. So somewhere you've been hurt by something. And I think the angels are really asking Taurus to take an independent stance and to look at how important whatever it is to you. Because when I say that, sometimes we can be, as humans, hurt by something and at the same time not care about it. Our ego is hurt because we're diminished in some way or we're devalued in some way. But ultimately, the party involved, we don't really care to interact with anymore. And sometimes with Taurus, you are loyal beyond really your own good, because you'll be loyal because there's a sense of familiarity, there's a sense of history, there's a sense of, I don't want to break in somebody new, so I'll stick with it. But I'm not sure we should, because I really feel like this is an opportunity to rectify something. The 5 of Swords is an interesting card because it's a card of where there's been an argument or there's some kind of disagreement, and you win the fight, but you don't really win the war, because the people that you win against, they don't really concede or acquiesce. They're more like this to you, you know. But the angels are saying, go your own way, be an Aries in some way. And when I say that, I mean, be brave in sticking to your guns and be aware of how you're choosing to filter new ideas that are coming through. Because now we see celebration in the Four of Wands. We see the bears coming out of hibernation. We see there's tons of bounty for them. They're ready to crawl up there and eat those berries. Hey, little grasshopper, welcome to the show. Hi, Ken G. Welcome to the show. We just finished with Taurus. So there's going to be a new idea. It may take you away from something you're currently engaged in, or something that others are looking for you to participate in or be part. I don't know. There's something about a new idea, and somehow somebody's not going to like what you're doing, but at the end of the day, there'll be celebration. There'll be also some bigger bounty about it. Like, I don't know, for some reason, this feels a little rewardy to me. All right, let's go on to our Geminis, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your Chiron is at 9 degrees of Taurus, Lucy? Really? And right up against your moon? That's super, super, super significant. Where is Venus? Because if your moon is at 10 degrees of Taurus and your Chiron is at 9 degrees of Taurus, then you have a wound that has a Venusian attachment to it. And it's emotional attachment. So somewhere your need for security, your need for loyal people around you, your need for to be able to speak your voice and trust that when you have an opinion, those around you, because in the past, you could have paid a price for that. You could have lost. When Chiron is in Taurus, there's a loss of security. There's a loss of safety. There's a loss of feeling the flow, you know. Eris is a very slow moving asteroid, and a lot of people like it's hundreds and hundreds of years, because I think everybody alive right now has Eris in Aries. I don't know. I can't see the symbol in between Eros. I think that's a conjunction. 23 degrees. It can't be if your Venus is 23 degrees. Well, Ken G, so nice that you're here. I'm glad you decided to use your voice. All right, we're going on to Gemini. You know, sometimes, Eris is the little sister of Mars, they say. She's had his, I think Pam Gregory calls her the street fighter. And I always imagine that she's like the girl that sticks up for the underdog that nobody understands, because she's so powerful. And she's powerful because she's brave, not because she's got a lot of stuff. She's like just willing to muck it up, I guess. All right. Now let's see my Geminis, because Jupiter stationed at 11 degrees. And I didn't look up how long that was going to be, but it's going to be a little bit, because we've got about a week until February 4th, I think. And then we'll have some time after that, because once Jupiter starts to ramp up, I feel like Jupiter is going to start booking through Gemini very quickly. And while Jupiter is considered in detriment, I really think that this is an opportunity to look at your bigger philosophies and see, am I applying them in my everyday life and my everyday thoughts? One of the things that occurs to me when I'm, I have these weird, because I've worked for myself, I feel like I have to work every day. If I don't do something every day, then, oh dear God, the whole, everything's going to crash and burn. So this week, relaxing a little bit and doing oh God, I want to clean the refrigerator. And oh dear, I need to do my life maintenance. Taking time to do that is to me like faith. So Jupiter rules faith. And at the same time, because there's a combination of giving Gemini permission to do something that doesn't feel, oh gosh, how do I want to put it? As before I even pull the cards on Gemini, I feel like this week is a time to relax in some particular way. I don't know why. It's like not pushing up against something. There you go. I don't know if you've been under the covers. I've been on top of the covers, but I've been on my bed with my computer binging on Peacock, the trader, because I just need to be mindless for some reason. And I feel like, yes, you've got to have faith and you've got to have a little fun right now. That's where I'm going. Gemini, like, let your mind, your ruling planet right now is up against Pluto. As it moves through Pluto's energy, it's going to bring these thoughts of money, thoughts of losing money, thoughts of other people taking your money or needing your money, or, old stories that could potentially hold you back. And I feel like there's a little bit of a surrender, because through the surrender, then Saturn in Pisces can do its job in your 10th house and bring an illumination of some kind as you connect to spirit that will then move forward. One of the biggest things that the human doesn't understand is that to truly co-create is a gas on, gas off, wax on, wax off kind of thing. So we usually don't wax off or gas off. We think if we take if we slow down, we will lose momentum. But momentum doesn't come from our physical action. It comes from our mind and our emotions. Okay, let's see where we're going this week. That's Saturn wanting the consistency and the discipline. Okay, Gemini, your first tarot card is the Strength card. Strength is really about fortitude. It's also in this deck about mastering the Kundalini energy of your base chakra. In our opportunity, our obstacle is the Ace of Swords, new ideas, new things cutting through the muck of the nonsense in our brain. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. I'll show you that in 1 second. Let me get the final one. And the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, this is what I want to offer you, because I've been feeling like, for some reason, I know that there is astrology, and then I know there's evolved astrology. So when I think of Saturn, and I think of Saturn being the god of the golden age that gave me tools to create. Now Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn is here adopting a spiritual dynamic of consistency of what I speak to the universe. Everything's always working out for me. I am manifesting the resources I need, the relationships I need, the love I need, whatever it is, because now is a time to really go into that Leo energy and to trust the infinity of the universe, to trust the emotional. Look at that moon. I think that's really powerful on some level, because it's sitting right behind her. There's that Kundalini energy of the snake, and then there's the lion effortlessly paving her pathway for her, showing that she's protected as she aligns her thoughts to what she wants, to what the wishes are. And that brings bounty. There's that Nine of Pentacles. It brings it into the physical. And again, we see a theme. Now we see what I think is like a black jaguar. It almost looks like a black tiger. Although I don't know if there are black tigers really, because there's stripes on this one. But I think that the stripes are kind of indicating that within the unknowing, there are hues of unknowing. Because sometimes we think, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. But in the back of our head, we're like, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And so here is the dove of peace, the bounty that you need, the things that you want. So hold steadfast for that, because this is the other thing, as a Gemini rising, that you're technically in whole sign. When Jupiter moves into your second house, it's moving into a money access, and your opportunity to make more security, safety, resources, to feel a sense of nurturing home, that flow can come in. And I do believe wholeheartedly that Pisces, the 10th house Pisces energy that's happening with Venus and Mercury and all the planetary activity over the next few months are teeing this up for you. But if you don't, I hate to say it that way, when you are brave in scooting into your dreams first with spirit. This was what feels good. I literally was saying to spirit last night, thanks for winning me that lottery. Thanks for winning me that lottery that I know that's going to buy me the house that I want to live in and grow old in, and just, my own personal, old folks home. Thank you. Because I ain't moving to no group home. That ain't happening. So that's what you get to say. You get to say it in the affirmative. And as you do that, things are going to start to show up. Because this is the time when those that have not had will start to have, because they're representing the shift that's happening as we connect to our inner selves. And so be it. Exactly. All right, we're on to our Cancers, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Has anybody seen Wild Robot? Because now that I binged on Trader, now Peacock is sending me all these, and Wild Robot, and I think I'm going to have to watch that, but I think it's going to make me cry, so I've been waiting. I don't know. Really digging the whole. I never used to sit on my bed and watch TV. I'm really digging it now. All right. It's not really TV. It's my computer. All right, my Cancers, here we go. Let's see. Your first card in the foundational position is the King of Swords. Then we have in the foundation, in the opportunity, the obstacle, the Hermit. We have the Emperor in the Angel's Advice. And in the final position, the Queen of Swords. Wow, wow, wow. The timing on money change for Gemini. I'm not quite sure what that means, because every Gemini, different. When you're talking about the house change, then you were talking about June. In June is when Jupiter will move into Cancer, and it's exalted there. Jupiter rules wealth and expansion, and the second house rules money. So Cancer is going to, that energy of Cancer will be, everybody has Cancer energy. Jupiter will be moving into the Cancer energy, but only for on this. Well, I'll just put it this way. I think a lot of it is going to be trusting your intuitive body there. All right, King of Swords for our Pisces. Cancer. Wake up, Teresa. This is an interesting energy because there's a lot of an Aquarian energy here. So there's a removal of the emotion here. This is much more about looking to the future. I see this almost like feels like a compass in some ways to me right now. And there is the eagles that sit on the shoulder of the king. And this is an energy with intellect on top of intellect. Now we have the Hermit, reflection about the work you do, about your health, about how much you worry, how much you don't worry, how much you take care of yourself. Now we see the Emperor in the Angel's Advice. This is a very individualistic energy, and it's a bit of, when I look at this, I feel as if my Cancers, you have Mars going through your first house, kicking up the dust a bit, okay? Mars in Cancer is like war in the home. Mars doesn't like being in Cancer because it's in fall. It doesn't feel like its hotness is respected. It feels like every time Mars expresses itself, like, well, what about when I got hurt here? The Cancer says, but what about how everyone else feels? What about how everyone else feels? And that's kind of messing now because it's hitting you. What about how I feel? And so there's a little weird feeling here that you're being somehow tasked to move into the future a little bit less emotionally and more intellectually, because there's a reflection of the self, some kind of reflection of the self. And this could also, with the Virgo energy, there's an energy of enslavement. That's where the Hermit comes in. And so I would almost wonder where, in your South Node energy, you're getting an opportunity to be less rigid in how you think, less self-critical, because here now is this Queen of Swords. This is where we put emotion with our intellect. This guy can be a little cold, a little bit unyielding, whereas this is like Libra fair. So for what I think is going on for my Cancers is there could be, and it could be, if indeed you're in a relationship, that Mars energy going through your first house, and are you suppressing any angers or frustrations? Can you find a way to express it in balance in some way? Because the Hermit is looking for reflection and wisdom, and the Emperor is looking for bravery. Thank you, Lucy. Because this Queen is a transformation in the heart. Look at the butterfly here. We don't see this kind of same thing with this guy. We see these eagles ready to, I'm right, he's a little bit tough. She's got transformation written all over her. So I think that for my Cancers, this is an opportunity to be brave in your self-expression, to be authentic in how you're feeling, and where potentially you feel that you're overworked and underpaid. And that doesn't matter whether you're a mom, you're an employee, you're an entrepreneur. This is attaching to your emotional body. Seek KD Investments. Did I answer your question? Because I also want to offer this too. There's going to be a lot of monetary changes over the next few years as we move into more electronic money, as Pluto gets deeper and deeper into Aquarius. A lot of shifts. A few years from now, we really won't recognize ourselves. All right, here we go on to our Leos, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, were you giving props to small wildflowers? Well, she deserves them too. All right, here we go. Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. We have the Eight of Swords. We have the Tower. We have the World. And then we have the Three of Wands. The Eight of Swords is a very interesting card because it's really, it's almost like a mirror of oneself. Because in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, we see that the character is part of this wall of swords. She has a blindfold on, but it's very loose. She's bound with more bandages, wrappings, but again, they're very loose. If she wanted to, she could wiggle her way out of it, but she can't, because she's so caught up in what she is ruminating on over and over again. And we see this through the swords. They're all over the place, pointing again to the center is a heart. And we can see the dominant blue energy going through. So the thoughts are going back through the heart and how the heart's been broken. The eagle is begging the energy to take flight, to look beyond what's going on, because there is a change. Obviously, you guys have Pluto opposing your first house. So your seventh house of peace and harmony, of cooperative relationships, of marriage potentials, that something is changing radically. And here's the World. The World is Saturn, but this is a reward card, because this is where Saturn has now educated the Fool on the rules and boundaries of the earth plane, and now the Fool knows how to work with them. So now there's a new beginning, where I'm looking to my future, but this time with more fire, with more passion, with more, I'm sick and tired of feeling like crap. That could very well be, and you just go, I'm not doing it anymore. The beautiful thing about the Leo energy, because it is truly the only sign that rules enjoyment, fun, pleasure. I mean, we see hues and little slivers of it in other signs, but some of the other qualities of the other signs are so dominant that it makes it difficult. Whereas in the Leo energy, there's such a pure, childlike joy and excitement, and now it's time to claim it. Sophia, I want to invite you to join me on Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 29th, We're going to do live readings, personal readings for everybody. So everybody who shows up between 3 and 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I'll be more than happy to address your personal question. Here, we're just doing kind of general. So I hope you can join then. I'm going to put out an announcement later today on the community board and maybe, on the homepage. But overall, I want to say this. For my Leo rising, we go from a challenge, from being part of focusing in on a problem, to actually liberating ourselves from that potential, because we're now starting to look at the world in a whole new way. We're starting to want to take advantage of the opportunities that the world has when we become brave. And then this is a new beginning. The Three of Wands is where I'm looking to my future in a new way, and I have a certain passion for it. I have a fire for it. This particular deck, we see a lot of butterflies, but they're depicted in many different ways, and this one is passion, very much. Okay, on to our Virgos. Now, for my Virgos, I really think that for all of you, the South Node going through your first house is going to be a little bit challenging, because you are so used to being of service to other people and finding your value through other people that now I think that you're going to be tasked to find the value in your perception of yourself. And in some ways, really let go of what other people, how they perceive your value. And I want to offer this too, because I think you're going to start to see a correlation between, if indeed you have any sort of health issues, like you have a chronic cough, or if you have like chronic insomnia, or, there could be a variety of things that happen in the health sector, but look at how they respond or correlate to your emotional body. Because if you have a chronic cough, you could have trouble speaking your truth. You can sometimes, but then other times you don't. If you are having sleeplessness, this could indicate that your mind is super busy, and that is worry. Worry is a form of, or a lack of faith. And you can rewrite that by pushing up on that North Node and doing your prayer work rather than going over the issues. It's going to be a big one for you guys, because it's all about self-acceptance. And this isn't about defeat. It isn't about not stretching for, a bigger version of yourself. It's about delineating where you come first, and others, need to take a back seat a little bit, because as we nurture the self, we have much more power and much more influence to help other people. You have a Virgo, Taylor, you are a Virgo rising with a nasty cough right now. I don't understand the not me part, but if you have a cough, you might put some onion, if you're not allergic to it, in a jar, cut it up, put some honey over it, let it sit for a couple of hours. It'll get more liquidy, and then drink that like a cough syrup. That'll help the cough. All right, here we go. On to our Virgo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Yep, always. Okay. In the foundational position, we have the Three of Swords. In the opportunity or the obstacle, we have the Two of Wands. In the Angel's Advice, we have the Four of Wands. And in the final position, we have the Death card, which leads me to bring a clarification card. This isn't easy. All right. On the Death card, the clarification card is the Strength card. This feels very, okay. The Three of Swords is not an easy energy. Oftentimes, the first thing we think is a betrayal of some kind. Three people are involved in a situation. There's three elements, and it's bringing literally heartbreak. If for some reason my Virgos are experiencing some kind of betrayal or heartbreak, or your the reliability, the dependability, the going the extra mile is not being acknowledged in some way, it is because the universe is compelling you at this time, as the South Node is going through your first house, to stretch for that North Node. where you get to be dreamy about what you want, where you get to focus on what brings you peace and harmony. And I know the seventh house is all marriage, partnerships, blah, 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 but I just think that's really dumbing the situation down, because if you only look at marriage, then marriages can often be the most disruptive energies in your life. So here, this is about yourself and about looking to your future, about building upon your future and starting to truly benefit from the harvest, benefit from all the hard work that you've done, because there is a transformation coming. Absolutely. The South Node will bring, but we notice in this particular deck, we see the Phoenix rising. We don't actually, the focus is much more on that bright color than on the darkness. The darkness fuels somehow. And this strength card to me really goes back to that Kundalini energy of maybe potentially like this could indicate constant worry, constant, I've got to, I should, I need to. You know how hard it is for a human to actually relax? I remember spending many hours in a job saying, oh my God, if I had today off, I would just sit on my bed and do nothing. And then I sit on my bed and do nothing and I can't even enjoy it because I feel like I should be doing something. It's a human construct, because somewhere this is the death of you being a servant, a slave, and starting to be more focused on the self and fun. What does Leo represent? Entertainment, personal pleasure, fun. So you're getting past that fight or flight that this represents and starting to tame that have to, should, and start taking advantage of a could, get to. I could do this if I wanted to. So we want to flip our conversation, our self-talk, into something that brings an opportunity forward. Okay, on to our Libras. Yeah, you don't have to get sick or get a migraine. You just get to give yourself permission. That's no fun. And your nodes are in the 10th and the 4th house, right? Or the nodes are transiting your 10th and your 4th house right now. So that shift is that Piscean, to have faith that if you relax and have fun and let yourself be, I have this plate that reminds me of Venus and Neptune. It's like, it's a little plate for cheese and crackers, and on it says something like, they drank wine into the night and told each other their most deepest dreams, or something like that. That's what I think that Venus and Neptune are. It really is like, because those forced breaks are no fun. When you're sick, you're not enjoying the time down, so it's about enjoyment. Well, that's a reframing of your brain, because you can look at rest as work. Because for you, like young lady, Miss Small Wildflowers, rest would be work, because it would take a lot of work for you to actually rest. So there you go. All right, here we go. On to our Libras, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. We have the 4 of Swords. Speaking of rest and protection, the 9 of Swords is worry. The 7 of Pentacles is something that you've created, contemplating, what am I going to do with it? And the final position is the Emperor. The Emperor has been coming out a lot today, a lot, for a lot of the signs. So there is something very powerful about the Mars Chiron square for everybody this week. The 4 of Swords is where the knight has been to battle, and now he comes back and he rests. The trout beneath him indicates bounty. The bears above him indicate protection. The swords on the trees are giving him an opportunity to really root in his thoughts through rest. The opportunity, but in this case is an obstacle, is really this worry card. This woman, this character, has no real clue what she's scared about. She's scared for reasons that seem to compound, and yet there's nothing threatening her here. The Seven of Pentacles is literally asking Libra to come back to the earth plane, to center themselves in what they've been creating and to trust what they've been creating. The Seven of Pentacles in many decks is like a money tree, because something has been worked on, something's being cultivated, and now there's the choice of allowing it to continue to grow or to, harvest it. And here we have the Emperor in the final position. This is an Aryan energy, okay? This is an energy of independence and bravery and understanding on some level the duality, as evidenced by the horses. Here, they're much calmer, because the Emperor understands, and we see that eagle, the eagles again, this was reflected on that ace, King of Swords card. So here's understanding a lot of more of that primal energy. And I think that this is as a result of rest. This is almost like, to me, if you think about Mars, Mars is go, 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 right? We always think of Mars as fast, fast. But Mars is the warrior. Mars is the competitor and the athlete. There is strategy behind it. When we see gladiators go onto the football field, they're not just running amok throwing the ball. There is a plan, okay? I think that this is about rest. I think it's not worry. I think there is a plan that is being implemented, and part of it is being very brave. And there's a dragon at the bottom of this card. I don't know if you can see the dragon. It's all the different colors. Let me see if I can show you where the head is. I can't see, but the dragon head seems to be right about here. The dragon is draped around. There's a lot of power in this card. So, strategy. This is a time of rest. It's a time to trust what you've built rather than worry, and understand that the human plane is, until you see it, you're not, you're always there might always be a little bit of doubt. That's part of being human. But the bigger part of you is the trusting part. All right. On to our Scorpios, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. For some reason, I'm enjoying shuffling this deck today. I think my fingers have gotten longer. I don't understand, because a couple of weeks ago, I could barely hold this deck without dropping it all the time. All right, guys, I got to get a Kleenex real quick. My nose is running. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay. When you're old, things dry up in places they shouldn't, and things run in places they shouldn't. Spitballs, book drop, book drop, book drop. All right, here we go. Scorpio, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. In the foundational position is the Nine of Wands. In the opportunity, the obstacle is the Six of Cups. In the angel's advice is the Ace of Cups. And in the final position is the Hermit. The Hermit is a 9, and the Nine of Wands that's important, because that's a culmination of some kind of cycle. So here we see this, in this particular deck, honestly, this man, well, this is normally a guarding energy. We see that I feel like this gentleman is not necessarily guarding, but holding space for what he knows, standing firm. And there's a duality here. Now, when we look at the wolves, we can kind of go to that canine energy, because there's something about this that makes me feel like, for my Scorpios, you're becoming sort of aware of your emotional body. The staff that he's holding in his hand appears to be in a moon. There's stars all over the interior of his garb. Somewhere this character has become more powerful, because he understands the duality of the moon cycle of who he is. And I feel like there's power here, because now seeing this Six of Cups, this is a regained innocence. This is childhood. This is something being offered to me. The Ace of Cups and the Angel's advice is love, more emotion. And I don't know if this is love of someone else, because as it sits to me, it feels more like Scorpio, you rule suspicion, you rule criminal behavior, and the detectives in many ways that find the criminals. So there's an inner knowing here. There's something about understanding your emotional body and an opportunity to regain a childlike innocence. And a lot of it, I think, is going to be egoless to where you've been and extracting the wisdom of where you've been enslaved. There's a reflection coming. And that reflection may be more to do with where you have already been versus where you need to go. Often in my prayer work lately, I say to Spirit, thank you for allowing me or helping me to take in all the good things I've created. When I'm sitting here watching this Traders and I'm literally just loving it, like this is like the greatest reality show I've ever seen, honestly. And I've seen a lot of them, but this is my favorite by far. And there's a guilty pleasure to it. And I'm thinking to myself, why do I feel guilty over this pleasure? I deserve it. I've worked so damn hard. That's what this feels like to me. You don't need to protect yourself anymore, Scorpio. You've mastered the duality of you and of the earth plane. And if you haven't mastered it, you've started to recognize it, where you don't need to fix yourself into that place of the darker side of Scorpio, because you can really take advantage of your intuitiveness, Ace of Cups, and this renewed sense of a new beginning. And I think Spirit is tasking you to spend time in reflecting in the opportunity that is coming for you in this new beginning. If we think about the idea of the fixed signs are all experiencing in any early planets in squaring the Aquarian energy, the fixed signs will feel Pluto's influence here. Now, Pluto can, destroy, but Pluto rebuilds. So here, I think this is a rebuilding energy, and it's a rebuilding from the inside out. Okay, now on to our Sagittarius' rising moon, sun, and stelliums. The moon just entered Capricorn this morning. I got that. I think that's what you're saying. Well, it would be entering, because the moon must be entering Aquarius, because we're doing in a couple of days, we're doing it must be at the end of Capricorn. All right, here we go. We are on to our Sagittarius rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, Sagittarius, here we go. I believe you. The Strength card again. Okay, there's a lot going on here. The Knight of Cups. The Hermit again. Wow, the themes. I'm thinking that Hermit is really the South Node. Pay attention to that South Node. And then the Knight of Pentacles. All right, so Sagittarius. This Strength card is very Leo, but in this deck, it's really honestly about the taming of that Kundalini energy, the fear that comes up when we don't feel a sense of safety or security, or we're not sure where we're going. Your ruling planet is stationed at 11 degrees in its detriment. So it is being tasked to look at the ideas and the thoughts that you have, but in a way that is implementing them in the real world. And the implementation sometimes of things in the real world is something that needs to be done in stages. It doesn't mean it can't be done, because the Knight of Cups is compelling you to follow your heart in a methodical way. In a methodical way. And when I say that, because the methodical way is also being aware of, I used to have this person in my life, and he would always say to me, that's semantics. I'd be like, no, it's vibrational. The words may be similar in what they mean, but the vibration of them is is different. And he would always think that was mumbo jumbo, but it's not. Because here, there's something being birthed into the material world and something that you've been working for. And this feels like a little bit of a 2-year process to me. So it could be, if we think about it, the nodes take about 1.5 years to go through every sign. So as it was going through your first house, you were finding out about yourself, and then it moved into the Libra energy. And that would be your 12th house. And then now it's moving into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So I think that this is about sort of looking at things a little bit more on how can I take steps to follow my heart in an everyday way that is giving life to the dreams and my own self-expression. You know, the Leo energy is the performer as well. The where you take your talents and you put them on the stage. And I don't think I'm a performer, but I'm taking my talents and I'm putting it on the stage of YouTube. So this is something for Sagittarius to start to think about and start to implement in a, I almost want to say step by step by step versus leapfrogging into something. Because the Knight of Pentacles, whenever we see knights, we're seeing that brave energy, that energy to be brave enough to put it in the material world. These crystals represent magic, and the feathers that are in the tree are representing the thoughts. Slowly but surely, exactly. Okay, on to our Capricorns. Rising, Moon, Sun, and Stellium. This is a beautiful deck. I really think it is. I think this is our last sign. We are just zipping along. Zippity-doo-dah. I like it. And I've started to think about food. Did I tell you guys that I've not been drinking? I decided to do dry January, and it's been so much fun to wake up feeling so good. And I mean that like not foggy, not, just get up, take the dog for a walk, go get a coffee. That I'm thinking it might be a thing to, I'm going to continue on. Oh, you got to check out this Trader show. You'll enjoy watching it. It'll give you a reason to sit on your bed. I really do feel so much better. I think that while I didn't drink much, I just think it depressed me, honestly. And I don't think I recognized that. Because I think when you're, young and you're with your friends and you're doing charcuterie boards and wine, it's all fun. But when you're just by yourself, it's not quite the same. And then, I don't know, it's surprising to me, actually. I mean, it's not like I've not gone on not drinking before, but this is the first time I've really noticed that my mood is elevated. That's, I guess, what I want to say. I'm having a friend over for Super Bowl Sunday, and I've thought about, do I want to partake or if I don't? And I think if I partake, it might just be out of a habit. That's the other thing I've been evaluating. And that might be the South Node going through my 6th house of Virgo, because am I doing it because I'm used to doing it? That's what I always do. Or do I actually want to do it? And that's where I think the key lies. Okay, on to our last sign of the day, our Capricorns, Rising, Moon, Sun, and Stelliums. We have the Magician. That's a new card today. The Hanged One, another new card for today. The 9 of Cups. Ooh. And the Justice card. Wow, wow, wow. We started with a spread of 4 major arcana cards, and we're ending today with 3 of 4 major arcana cards. Capricorn, the Magician is so amazing. It's a mastery of the thoughts. It's ultimate as above, so below. What you focus on, you create and experience. This is you understanding as your ruling planet goes through Pisces that you are being... Your opportunity in many ways is to slow down and you're building enough to connect with spirit so illumination can come in. This is so, and your wishes will be fulfilled. This is a wish fulfillment card that brings peace and joy. And frankly, you deserve it. You've been walking a long time with Pluto going through your 1st house, and now Pluto's going through your 2nd house. And I really think that Pluto brings in money. And when you're aligned to your truth, your passion, you get up in the morning, it feels good to do the work that you do, then you start to bring in the resources because something's coming in. something fair and just, something that you've been working for. So this feels really good. Now, this week, Saturn really isn't close to the North Node. I mean, they're like 10 degrees apart in the North Node, Venus and Neptune, but Saturn is slowly creeping that direction. So I want to offer it this way because I think what Spirit is offering you as Mercury enters your second house is to be aware of your thoughts, to keep them in that transformational lane of where you want to go, the kind of abundance you want to experience, the kind of expansion you want. And then the Hanged One is really kind of representing that meditative state where I'm aware that I'm focusing in on the want versus or focusing in on how it feels once I get it versus the want of it. And then the 9 is the 9 of Cups is Spirit just confirming, focus on your wish being granted. And I think it's going to come through. This is a Libra energy too, an energy of understanding the ebb and the flow. Because if you hadn't gone through the experience of understanding your own thoughts, the reward that you get might not feel as great as it would have. Okay. That's it for today. I want to say I don't have a 39-degree low, but we have had a 49-degree. I think it was 49 last night. Might have been 51. Oh, it was in the 40s. It was in the mid 40s last night and will be this tonight. I love it when it's super cold. I really do. I got to tell you, I pull the covers up right all the way up to here. I just love it. And you know what 34 degrees does too? It gives you permission not to go outside and mow your lawn or work too hard, but to relax. Because Venus and Neptune are together, okay? We get to understand that planetary activity is telling us to relax, do nothing. It's Sunday. All right, everybody. I will see you on Wednesday for your personal questions will be answered by me, Teri Hunter, and Spirit. And it's going to be fun, because we're going to exchange energy and we're going to chat. And we had so much fun the last time. So I'm really excited about doing it again. For those of you on the West Coast that work during the day, I'll try to figure out a time to accommodate everybody. But I am going on the new moon and the full moon. So the moon's going to have to work with us all too. So we love you. Me and all my personalities and my little Luckster who's doing so well. And I'll see you next Sunday. So it's peace out, everybody. Bye.